Hello, students. Had a couple of you asking some homework questions. So I'm going to jump to part A, question number 5. And the question was really talking about kind of what's the idea? How can we think through these things? And so I think it's helpful to break them down into pieces. The parentheses are really helpful as we go. So just remember, in the middle here, I've got a union, which is an or statement. So if we were starting with part A, and I was looking at this picture, and I said, let's shade the portion. I'm gonna I'm gonna do this portion right here in red, and red is where A and B intersect. I can think of that as intersection. I can think of it as the and statement. That would be where what items are in A and B. So again, if A is this circle right here, B is the circle next to it, then A and B would be everything that's kind of in this middle region. All right. Now I'm going to choose a different color, which is green. Why not Mountain Dew colors or something like that? Okay. And this is A and C. Okay. So notice this is where A and C intersect. So now A and C intersect in this region right here. And that's where the chunk in the middle is really important. Let me change colors on that too. So the chunk in the middle says, hey, it's an or statement. This is the union of those two. So that means I want to shade. My final answer will be shade anything that is red or green. It has to be colored by at least one of those. So my final answer, if I was going to shade in blue, my final answer, maybe I'll do a kind of a shady highlight thing. It would be everything in here. So everything in here would be my final answer. Now notice if instead of this union, if they'd given me an intersection, I'd have to find where those two red and green intersected, and it would just be this kind of middle region because that's the place that has both coloring. Let's try another one, right? Why not? We're on a roll. So again, I'll start with the first one. I'll kind of shade this one in red. A union B. So anything that's in A or B, that means it has to be in at least one of those. So if I was shading those, then I would shade everything that's in A, because that's good, everything that's in here, um, as well as things that are in B, and that's there right there, horribly. Let's just scribble like a kindergartner, Scott. That's a good idea. All right, so there we go. Now, what am I doing? Next one that I'm going to shade, I'll do green, is C complement. So on everything that's not in C. So definitely this stuff out here would not be in C, right? All of this, that's not in C. Okay, so all of that is green, as well as the stuff, anything that's outside of C. So all of this region here as well. All right. And now what is our symbol? Our symbol is an intersection. Where do those intersect? Where can I find red and green? And it would be this region up here. And so I would shade that as my final answer. So what I recommend for this is you kind of have like a scratch one where you kind of do your little sub shadings and then have your final answer nearby where you can kind of, like if I was doing a final answer, I would not have any of these other pieces shaded at all. I would just shade the chunk. Oops. I would just shade my final answer, which we just said would be kind of this piece right here. This would be my final answer. So all that other work that I did there is really just to kind of give you an idea of how did I get to that final answer. All right, so we'll try one more. I guess I'm doing blue because I already had it highlighted. So A and B would be this region right in there. There's A and B. Together union with C. So if I shade C, then what do I do? I'll do purple, I guess. C would be anything here. Okay, all of that. Okay, so there's C. And I want the union, right? I want the union of these, which means I want something that's in one or the other. Okay. So that's what I want. So I'm going to clear those now because one or the other, an or statement means just at least one of the colorings. Could be purple, Like could be this little region where they intersect. That's fine. But it could also just be the blue or just the purple. Any of those is fine. So my final answer, if I was shading this for my final answer would look like, kind of take all of C. There's all of C, shade all this stuff in the middle, and then also include the rest of that intersection that I didn't already. And boom, there you go. Let's take a look now at question number 7. Question 7 is talking about something a little bit different. And that is finding, ooh, look at what we're finding now. We're finding the intersection in a sense. We're finding A relative complement B. So what that means is think of all the stuff that's in A and then physically remove the objects that are also in B. And let me give us just a little bit of white space here. There we go. And I'll select and bring that down just a little bit. Okay, so there we go. Let's see here, maybe a little bit more. Get rid of that over there. There we go. All right. Well, let's jump in here with a different color. Okay, so now, so what's in A, and then you take out what's in B. So now they're going to give us a condition. Okay, so this is like the if statement. So if A intersect B is the empty set. Okay, so what that tells me, remember, if the intersection is the empty set, is that there are no elements in both. We know that. So if you think of kind of whatever A is, and you say, well, I want to take out all the stuff that's in B, but you know that there's no elements that they have in common, there's nothing that they have together, then A set difference B is just what you started with. So your final answer would actually just say, I get back what I started with. I didn't really remove anything, Scott. And I'd be like, yeah, you're right. Okay. Let's see here. I'll do a different color for the next one. So now I'll say, ooh, what if B is the empty set? Okay, well then A set difference B would be the same thing as A remove everything that's in the empty set, right? Go ahead. Go ahead, pull out all the stuff that's in the empty set, right? What is that? You didn't pull anything out because the empty set is empty. So then you just end up with A. Okay, so 2 of them I actually ended up with A. Last one says B. Oh, B is now the universe. Oh, okay. Well, I better give myself a little bit of space. We'll change colors one more time. What do I go to now? Dark orange. Okay, so now I know that B is the universe. So I want you to picture set A, whatever you're thinking of set A being, set A. And I want to remove everything that's in B, which is basically like take your set and remove everything that's in the entire universe. And just go ahead and tell me what remains after you took out everything in A that was in the universe. Go ahead. I mean, what remains? And hopefully you'd say, I think I took everything out. And I would say, that's absolutely right. You did take everything out. And so, oops, there we go. So you'd be left with nothing, which would, in set notation, a set with nothing in it would be the empty set. All right. So that is the idea of the homework. If you go forward, let's see here to page 74, which is when 2.3 starts. So question 5 is very, very similar. And so again, if you were looking at something that was like, hey, where does A intersect B? So that's like, where does A intersect B? Well, find it. Here's where A intersects B. Okay, I'm going to shade that. Now I'm going to shade where does B intersect C? And maybe I'll choose a different color. So blue for this one. Where does B intersect C? Right? Well, B and C don't intersect. So that's basically the empty set, right? So then what happens if I take, I'm in kind of this brownish orange area, or I'm in the empty set? And your final answer is just going to be this region right here, that little football. All right, we'll take a look at number 7 down here. I think number 7 is pretty similar. You find B minus A instead of A minus B. I mean, not a huge change. And in this case, they'll say, hey, what if A is equal to B? What if B is a subset of A? So again, in here, everything that's in B is going to be in A. And there might be more stuff in A too. All right. That wraps it up. Hopefully you found that helpful, and I'll see you all soon in class. All right. Take care.